Hi, today I'm going to show you a brief overview of how to install and use the Nimble Storage vCenter plugin. Managing storage with Nimble is already very easy. However, the vCenter plugin allows VMware administrators to create and manage vSphere data stores on the Nimble array directly from vCenter, providing single pane of glass management. So installing the plugin is a very simple process. We log on to our Nimble Storage Arrays GUI, as shown on screen, and select vCenter plugin from the administration menu. Next, we type in our vCenter server address, type in our credentials and click register. And that's it, the vCenter plugin is now installed. Now that we have the Nimble plugin enabled, we're able to manage Nimble data stores directly from the vCenter client. Here from the vSphere Data Center view, we click the Nimble tab and immediately see a list of data stores that we have created and registered. This page gives a storage-centric summary of what's going on with those data stores, such as throughput, compression ratio, and space utilization. As we can see, for our main VM data stores ngDS01 and ngDS02, we're getting a compression ratio of about 1.5 times, which is typical for this type of data. So from here we have a number of options, one of which is creating a new data store. We can do this by clicking the green plus button. So we'll give our data store a name and select which host can have access to this new volume. We can select a parent vSphere cluster to ensure all our hosts in this cluster have access to the volume, which is obviously important when using vSphere HA or vMotion. Clicking Next allows us to choose a data store size. Nimble volumes are thin provisioned by default, and we recommend you leave these settings at their default values in most circumstances. I'm just going to create a 10 GB data store for the purpose of this demo. Next, we can configure volume protection. This allows us to set a snapshot policy for that particular data store or a set of data stores. What Nimble also allows us to do is enable data consistent copies. If we tick this Configure Synchronized Snapshots option, the Nimble array will communicate with vCenter each time a snapshot is taken, and our VMs contained within this data store will be quiesced. This gives us a consistent copy of data held within those VMs. So next we set our schedule. I'm going to create a simple daily schedule for this data store, snapping each day at 12 AM. As you can see on the right, if we have a second array, we can also ask it to replicate to that array as part of the schedule. We could configure multiple schedules at this point, so that for example we could also take an hourly snapshot retained for a different length of time. So we now get a summary of what we're about to configure, and pressing Finish will complete the process. The Nimble plugin is automating the process of creating the Nimble volume, setting access policies, rescanning our vSphere HBAs, and registering a new data store with the ESX hosts. This obviously reduces the amount of time taken doing this sort of administrative task. So we can now see we have our new data store listed. Also, if we've changed our mind about the configuration of this data store, such as the size, we can at any time click on it and go to this Grow Data Store option. This means we can then expand beyond the original capacity, let's say to 50 GB, click Grow Data Store. It will automate the process of expanding the Nimble volume and then also expanding the vSphere data store to reflect our new size. As we can see, the screen now reflects the fact that our data store is now 50 GB in size. So going back to our list of data stores, if we click on a particular data store, we can get more detailed information about what is going on with that volume. As you can see, we get some historical volume performance information, some more details on space utilization, and a summary of array level settings such as access control. Clicking the Snapshots tab provides us with a list of all snapshot copies available for this data store. Now these are Nimble Storage level snapshots, which are very space efficient and have no performance impact. As is demonstrated on screen, this lightweight snapshot technology means we can take and keep many snapshots online to enhance our data recovery capabilities. What's more, because the snapshots are pointer based and are compressed, we consume very little space in the process. So the snapshot copies seen on screen have been taken using the inbuilt Nimble scheduler. However, we are able to take manual snapshots from here at any time. More interestingly though, we can pick any snapshot available and create an instant clone of it for recovery and testing purposes. This cloning process is very different from a standard vSphere clone. It's not a full block clone that can take ages to copy and consumes additional disk space. This is a Nimble pointer based clone that references the original snapshot copy and saves any changes using the Castle file system's efficient compressed data layout. So I'm going to go ahead and select this snapshot copy from a couple of days ago and create a Nimble clone. This process should only take a few seconds, and the plugin will automate the process of cloning the Nimble volume and then presenting it back up to our vSphere cluster. So going back to our main data store view, we see we have a new data store available, Clone 1. We can now browse this data store and see it contains a copy of data from ngds01. However, the contents of this directory in the clone are as they were when the original snapshot was taken. So from this clone copy of the data store we can do a number of things. We can copy files from the clone data store back to our primary copy that we might need, or we can do test and dev operations by registering VMs directly from the clone copy. As the clone is purely a pointer-based copy of the original data store, the space consumption is very low and we only store the delta changes made since the clone was created. This is a pretty powerful way of enhancing data recovery and providing very quick test and dev facilities within a VMware environment. Thanks for watching. Why not visit us at ng-it.co.uk and follow us on Twitter for the latest information on Nimble Storage. We'll also be adding new video content regularly, so check back soon or subscribe to our YouTube channel for more.